Hi, I'm Monica Pedrizzelli, and welcome to Disability Advocacy Weekly, your weekly update on the issues affecting Americans with disabilities. Each week, we will review the top national stories and local issues making headlines in the world of disability advocacy and provide resources that empower you to help make a difference. Our weekly video coverage in podcast format can be found on our website, www.disabilityadvocacyweekly.com. In Albany, New York this week, a legal services group says that a state agency responsible for investigating abuse and neglect of disabled New Yorkers isn't effective and should be moved into the State Attorney General's office. Disability Rights New York, a federally designated watchdog, is calling for public hearings on whether the Justice Center for the Protection of People with Special Needs should be more independent of the state agencies it investigates. The rights group, which is federally authorized to protect the disabled, has sued the Justice Center, stating that the state agency refuses to provide requested records in 25 deaths related to choking and falling. The Center for American Progress, an independent nonpartisan policy institute, released a report examining the criminal justice reform landscape as it relates to people with disabilities. The report highlights specific steps policymakers can take to combat inappropriate and unjust incarceration of people with disabilities, as well as steps to ensure appropriate and humane treatment of people with disabilities throughout the justice system. The report notes that individuals in state and federal prisons are nearly 3 times as likely to report having a disability than the general population. Fully half of women in jail have a disability. In Kansas, advocates for people with disabilities are pressing the federal government to force the state to quickly process its backlog of Medicaid applications. In a letter to the Federal Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, the Disability Rights Center urged federal officials to require Kansas to document that it is notifying applicants of their right to a hearing if their application isn't processed within 45 days. The efforts by the Disability Rights Center are fueled by a recent disclosure by the Kansas Department for Health revealing that more than 15,000 applications are currently backlogged. The advocates contend that the backlog demonstrates that the state is failing in its responsibility to provide necessary Medicaid coverage and that it is ignoring its duty to protect the rights to due process for citizens. In Washington, D.C., Metro riders with disabilities report that they are starting to abandon the Metro in favor of buses and paratransit services. Concern over smoke and fire incidents and the Metro's questionable evacuation procedures are discouraging people with disabilities to use the service, according to the Washington Post. Members of the Metro's Accessibility Advisory Committee have expressed concerns over the ability of people in the tunnel to evacuate. You can read more about the troubling issue online at WashingtonPost.com, which can be found on our website. In New Jersey, a state audit revealed that the Christie administration's push to promote integration for people with disabilities and to end outdated and expensive institutional care has led to problems. The audit examined 40 of the 204 people who moved from a recently closed care center. The audit revealed repeated problems as documented by case managers on follow-up visits. Group home operators are said to have taken too long to fix these problems. In one case, a disabled client waited 2 years for a functioning wheelchair to arrive, depriving him of the ability to even leave the house. One disability rights advocate called this example unconscionable. State officials have promised careful attention to the problems listed in the audit, but advocates remain wary of the climate of care for people with disabilities in the New Jersey group homes. You can read more about this story on NJ.com by visiting the link on our website. For more details on any of these trending stories, please visit our website. Please follow us on Twitter at Advocacy Weekly or on Facebook at DA Weekly for updates and our latest episodes. Thanks for joining us, America. For Disability Advocacy Weekly, I'm Monica Pedrizzelli.